This game, he was level 4.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that when you are against a push lineup like that, there's a lot of pressure on you to execute in those team fight situations, especially if the opponent is able to get objectives early on. And you just saw in those last couple of replays, just kind of small mistakes out of Vega in those 5v5 engagements. The casters brought up late the decision, the bad dream coil in the decisive fight. But there were also some mistakes in the previous engagement. I think that call down might have overlapped with the curse a tiny bit.
Yeah, that is always a fickle thing.
So yeah, I think it's just, I think that there were some small mistakes by Vega, both in the laning phase and in some of those 5v5 engagements that I don't think you see them make again if they get the chance to do this over.
Yeah, we can check out the match damage
it's
statistics
3 Vega
here
players in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
no, I mean that VP lineup was built around doing damage to buildings.
Buildings, yeah. You don't really have the stats for that one though, but I'm sure if they did, you would be seeing a lot more from the side of VP and not so much from the side of Vega there. And at this point, how do you look to approach things going in for game number 3? Obviously, you already made the call out, banning out the Chen. But actually, before we talk a bit more about game number 3, I casually mentioned that, what if they just swapped out the Wyvern maybe for something like the AA that you used to go for? Now, it might have not changed the situation a whole lot, given that Vega were not able to get a lot for their supports in the farm department. So who knows if he would have been able to have a good Ice Blast and good time. But do you think something like that could have made a possible change? I know it's kind of hard to say from the outside, but maybe when you feel like someone like AA is kind of outside of the box as far as where the meta is, maybe in these kind of situations you might need to revisit it.
It feels a similar role to like what the Winter Wyvern did, which is like it's like that hero that helps just defend the high ground. So I think it could have worked. I think unlike Winter Wyvern, the hero isn't quite as good in the laning stage of the early game. He just doesn't really offer a whole lot to your lanes. He has no. The Winter Wyvern can pressure the mid lane because they already had the CM who could also help the safe lane, but it was definitely, if there's ever a game where an AA should be viable, it was that game. So I think AA was a viable pick, but Winter Wyvern at the same time was, if anything, a probably better pick.
Yeah, that was going to be my response as well. That really, the Ancient Apparition is an interesting concept there because obviously they really were able to exploit the sustain offered by the Witch Doctor and the Chen heal. Yeah, I mean, they just never had to go back to base in those sustain pushes. At the same time, though, again, the real problem that we've been mentioning consistently here was the laning phase and the fact that Vega wasn't able to get quite enough out of that to slow down those early pushes. And I think the Ancient Apparition is almost even a little more problematic in that respect than the Winter Wyvern.
All right, we're going to go back for Coach Nahaz again, but now you're going to be supporting the side of Vega here. Do you kind of go into Game 3 anticipating that there's potential that Virtus.Pro could pull out something similar, again, just with backs against the wall, you get a bit more creative if you're FNG, or do you go back to just working with what works for you in a Vega lineup?
I think the latter much more so. I think it's the same thing that we said yesterday after Game 1 against LGD, that we got a draft that we feel comfortable with. We got heroes that we feel like are very playable against the opposing lineup, and we knew what we needed to do to win the game, and we just didn't do it. And so it's much more about just tightening up that execution, making some little adjustments in terms of being a little bit more efficient in resource gathering early on.
Yeah, I don't think they need to change their picks. If anything, they like the Chen ban, I think they can change up some of their bans, but their drafts have been working for the most part. This game, they just got caught a bit by surprise.
Now, what about for Virtus.Pro then? I mean, you got to anticipate that Vega are probably going to be banning, like you said, the Chen out there. Maybe you could exploit that in a sense that you could pick up something a bit more profitable for yourself. It's hard to gauge at the moment.
Oh, my goodness. Profitable. Good.
Actually, that was not.
They've been losing a lot with the Nature's Prophet. So I don't know if anything they've been turned off the hero. That was the same thing that happened against Alliance. So Game 1 they picked Nature's Prophet, they got owned. They didn't want to pick it in Game 2. Same thing happened in this best of 3 series. So.
As cheese go, though, I was actually thinking about this during the game, and we were talking about before the last game, what's VP going to do that's sort of cheesy as a strat. That's one thing, though, that they could do is try the global strat with the Zeus Spectre, maybe Nature's Prophet. That's one kind of type of cheese strat that I could see them pulling off.
Did work for OG in their Game 2 matchup against Na'Vi here, but it seems like we have a draft ready to go, so why don't we go ahead and hop into game number trace here. Vega versus Virtus.Pro. One team moves on. One team, they got to get the hell out of here. So we'll see who's going to be here. Virtus.Pro are going to be on Radiant's side with the first pick. Vega will be on Dire. And already the bans might trend to be a bit similar here. Again, Virtus.Pro going to be giving the nod toward the Bounty Hunter. And again, Vegas say no to the OD. Nature's Prophet, though, going to be taken out as the second ban here for Virtus.Pro. They don't take much time at all to think about it. They want something juicy with that first pick.
Yeah. It's very clear that FNG has some kind of game plan going into each game where like pick or side does matter, because VP actually had the selection again this game. So game 2 they chose Dire, and then game 3 they have choice, but they choose first pick over Dire. So it seemed like they had one strat they want to run on Dire, but now they have choice again. It's like, okay, that was our Dire strat. Let's go take first pick and use our other strat that we think is going to win us game 3.
Yeah, it's just the mark of a captain that's been around for a long time. Like I've said already many times about this VP squad, all the ingredients are there. It's just putting those ingredients together.
Now you have still top potent pickups here. Your Earth Spirit still to go
And
for,
there's the Chen ban.
and they are going to get rid of the Chen. So no extra cheesiness here for Virtus.Pro,
Very
but
good.
we are going to be seeing the G Invoker.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. I think this is what I kind of expected to see from VP in Game 2. Vega Squadron leaving the Invoker on the table. Of course, no stranger to that hero himself, knows how to play against it. We've been seeing Puck run in the mid lane against Invoker recently, so that's something that that we could look out for again in this draft. But I think if you're VP, if you're going to try and play this game straight up, the very first priority has to be securing Gia Comfort Hero mid.
Yeah. I wonder if Vega. Okay, they're not going to go Earth Spirit. They're going to go for the Beastmaster Enchantress once again. So I mean,
Well, yeah.
you've got G's Invoker, but you've also got that duo that worked so well for Vega going back to game number 1, and which has got 2 of their most comfortable picks. So
But
gives
I think
VP the Earth Spirit.
I think if you're gonna, my issue with VP's drafts, I said it in game 1 here, and I said it yesterday, is if you're going to give the opposing lineup their comfort picks, you've got to have something that you feel equally confident with.
Yep.
And I didn't see in those lineups yesterday, I didn't see in their game 1 draft heroes that they were super confident with. Here, all of a sudden, they're going to get G on that snowballing hero mid. They're going to pick a hero that can really support that Invoker mid, get him off to that very strong start. This is a good trade, I think, for the Beastmaster Enchantress.
And not just a hero that supports G, but as far as comfort picks go, this to me is one of No Fear's best
Yes.
heroes, maybe his actual best hero. So I think for VP, they're going to feel very good about what they've got for No Fear and G right now.
Now,
Yeah.
because of that early commitment from Vega to go right for the Beastmaster and the Enchantress, does mean we're going to be something different here from this gentleman, No One. They have banned out the Puck in that second phase, so they will not have the Precious Fairy Dragon to work with in this go-around. So I'm curious to see what his fallback plan is going to be. Casually throwing out, it doesn't read to me like it would be a No One kind of a hero, but has found success in a mid-lane matchup against someone like the Invoker. But, you know, can we toy with the idea of a PL mid-lane? Is that just something totally off the radar for No One? It doesn't seem like it's kind of a hero, but we found a lot of success in the past with that matchup.
It's good. It matches up decently against Invoker and has an escape spell for the Earth Spirit. I think if there wasn't an Earth Spirit, you'd just be looking at Zeus as the kind of clear mid laner just to run that has good damage output to kind of combo with the Raw. He matches up fine against the Invoker, but with an Earth Spirit roaming, Zeus gets a bit trickier to play with.
And remember, we did see Navi try that out the other day. They tried to Dendi mid-PL out against an Invoker, and that's something that very often all these teams playing in the same region, they're going to be scrimming each other. They're going to be familiar with each other's strategies. Often when you see one team try something like that out, another team is going to have it in their repertoire. But the early Oracle pick is going to come out from Vega here. Again, I like that a lot more second phase than I do first phase, but I'm a little bit surprised to see it. Maybe the early aggression, the map presence from Solo's Enchantress is going to be able to cancel out a little bit of the passivity of that Oracle.
I was going to say it would mean like possibly No One Death Prophet. It does work nicely in tandem with it, but
It's banned.
oh, it has been banned. Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard to see from
So
here.
they get it with the
Okay.
Spectre, so it gives some sustain for Spectre and lane, at least
Yeah.
a decent zoning lane partner.
And you know what's great, actually, between Spectre and Oracle, which not a lot of people do talk about. Spectre, a candidate in the later game to pick up something like a Heart. Heart and False Promise is just wonderful together. I mean, you trigger off the False Promise, and let's say that the Heart happens to be on cooldown once you trigger it. Well, you'll still have plenty of time to wait for the cooldown and still get something like after the math with the double heal. You can still get like 1,000 health.
Yeah.
So it's huge sustained power there.
I had a feeling that we would see the Spectre out of one side or the other in this third game. And
Oh.
there's the
Ew.
cheese. I really didn't know that they would do this. I wonder.
Does FNG play the Brood? Do they
I
swap
wonder
roles?
if they're going to swap roles. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Huh.
I wonder if they're going to move Yoku back to that off-lane position. But I don't know. I'm not sure if FNG's played it before.
Wow. I mean, FNG. I unfortunately don't know his what was probably a long player history here, but is this his first time competitively playing in the off lane position?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Yeah, and going into a Broodmother seems like one of the most micromanage heavy. I mean, if I was an offlaner, it'd be like, that's a pretty hard hero.
Yoku's played a little bit of Brood in the past. It wasn't like he wasn't like a DK Phobos or Mag who were like the Brood aficionados, but he was a decent Brood.
And he's Yoku. I mean, the kid can play anything.
But and in theory, you may just put like FNG on some kind of tempo controller, safe lane farmer. Like, I guess it's really hard because you don't want to completely screw with your roles as much as you may need to because of the Brood pick. It basically is going to come down to what FNG is comfortable with. But this is the right kind of pick because I'm thinking like, what kind of offlaners will work against an Oracle Spectre? And there's not many great ones available. The Nature's Prophet, it was already banned out earlier. The Earth Spirit's kind of a roaming hero, so you can't exactly run a dual lane setup. So I think Vega looking to punish that fact by picking up a Spectre, but Brood is always that kind of X Factor hero.
Yeah,
so
now you got to get
need
something
to see
for
the
no one
mid.
here.
Yep.
Who has got to be pretty evasive to avoid the confrontation from an Earth Spirit early on, and might need to be able to kind of help out in this side lane pressure a bit too.
You may even need to consider something that can deal with Brood, and there we go. It's going to be. I was just thinking, like, what are the Brood heroes that either have some catch for Brood, a bit of AOE wave clear, like you consider something crazy like a Darkseer mid, but Batrider is good against Brood. It's a gem carrier. You've got AOE to help deal with the Spiderlings.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
Whoa.
Vintage CIS pick out of VP here. That's something that's been coming back a little bit lately, but
This is a CIS draft.
It
in a
really
nutshell,
is.
Like,
It
not
really
even just
is.
to see.
All right, gentlemen, we got to make this one snappy though. Predictions
I'm
now.
gonna take Vega. I think it's gonna be a barn burner. This is gonna be a great game.
I'm going with Vega. Just
I'll go with Virtus.Pro, and let's go ahead and send it to the Cybersports Arena. We got Ayesee and Ryuu bringing you the cast.
Hey guys, welcome back. Game number 3 of the leadoff series of the day. Vega taking on VP once again. CIS showdown, and this draft really shows that to us.
Oh man, I'm so excited to get into this. We just see
man.
so many new heroes here.
Dude,
Oh.
I'm so hyped to see CK.
Yeah, CK is just one of those fun heroes to watch.
He's one of those heroes that,
You need a pairing partner, and it's normally Wisp, or
Right.
sometimes it could
It's
be
very
Coddle,
predictable.
but this time it's going to be with the CM, and I really like it just for having that extra stain because his mana early on is absolute garbage. And this is going to, like they talked about on the panel, it's going to be very interesting who's going to win this because this is even more even than last game, I feel. It's going to be all in this Brood to get something done early. And you're facing Mag, the best Brood player probably in the world.
Yep.
Got to ESL New York. They won that, and then they got to the invite to the majors, and this is just really well. I don't know. I've seen teams pick a Brood against Mag, and he just absolutely tells his team what to do, and they just dominate Brood. So I'm very scared on that side of things, but we'll have to see.
Well, one of the things that jumps out immediately is when you look at Vega, due to Spectre's innate mobility because of Haunt and so on, they have so much roam potential. Like, their initiation is off the charts with the Bat, with the Beastmaster, who you know is going to build a Blink at some time relatively soon. In fact, it looks like they're ready to get the party started early. They're going to smoke on into the Radiant side jungle, and it looks like VP may be anticipating some shenanigans grouped up there as well. Ward goes down, still hasn't popped it yet. Now, if these two engage very quickly, who's got the best one-on-one or best level 1? Who do you think?
Yeah, you don't have the Brood with you, so you just kind of have to best. I'm very surprised they didn't just wrap around here, go for this play, and just come from behind. That was a little bit questionable from Vega.
Well, it looks like they're still going to hang around, really wanting to secure this rune.
I mean, you can't fight into a Batrider. Once he gets 4 or 5 stickies on you, you're dead. You're just going to get run down, especially a CM. Imagine a CM having 5 stickies. You're going to have, like, negative movement speed or something crazy here.
I did get a little gold there. Saw her actually throw out the Frostbite and kill off the boar. So finally we're going to get into the laning phase, and as they take shape, how about we run through and talk about who's handling who. It'll be FNG playing on the Broodmother out in that off lane. It'll be Yoku on the Chaos Knight. Invoker going to be handled by G. No surprise there. I'm actually crazy hyped to see G's Invoker. Whenever I think G, this is what I think of, and No Fear is going to be there to make this foursome, as Vega had 2 there to start, Solo and No One on the Enchantress and the Bat, respectively. The Crystal Maiden on the map is going to be played by Aloha Dance, and the Earth Spirit, as mentioned, No Fear. Spectre's going to be handled by FN, farming up the Save Flame. The Bad Rider, played by No One, joined by Solo on the Enchantress and Min, as we already saw, will be Selma, playing on our Oracle, and the Beastmaster, who's in a little bit of trouble and having to come back behind his own tower to heal up. That's handled by Mag, as you had mentioned. So up at top, we can see how aggressive this Brood's already playing.
Yeah, he's they haven't really committed for this Sentry Ward just yet for Sioma. He knows that the Brood has 2, and he's going to get heavily de-warded, or counter-warded here. So you can't really place them. You're just going to have to hope that the Enchantress can smoke around and come, and you're going to have this dust to play with on your Oracle. So they can still get the kill on him. And what creep did he get first? The Hellbear. Not ideal. You would really love to have a Troll Trap here against the Spider early on.
CN does hit 2, puts that first point in aura, as you had mentioned. Such a huge help to the CK. And, you know, there are inevitably the threads, you know, looking ahead to the next patch of what's going to be the next hero. I'm not going to, the cancer hero, whatever. I hate actually calling it that. But what's going to be something that's just going to be spammed and it has a high potential to come into competitive play at a high level. And I defer, of course, to you and the better players and more knowledgeable players. But there's something in me that thinks Chaos Knight could be on that list.
Oh, yeah.
He plays so aggressive. He pairs well with a lot of good heroes that, you know, he's the kind of hero who doesn't need mobility so long as he has a mobility initiator, and those seem to be popular. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, ever since his change, he keeps getting buffed, you know, gradually here, gradually there, with the minus armor that his crit applies to now. It's going to be able to do a lot of damage to, you know, BKB units, so it's going to help a lot because that's one of his big problems. They're going to have this wraparound top.
Trying to chase her, unable to. Oh, they do catch her from distance. There's the follow-up as well from the Oracle. Do they have the damage? They do.
They let FN take that kill. They wanted him to have it because he needs to have a really good start. He needs to get like those phase boots very fast to be able to chase down the Brood as well as just run away from the Spiderling. So that's just an amazing play from Vega, realizing they need to get that kill on the Spectre.
It was played really, really well. Could not have cut it any closer, but they get the job done. And we see No Fear on the Earth Spirit. We saw him yesterday when VP struggled. He had a tough day looking to turn that around here.
He missed the kick in or the roll in. Yeah. That would have been a kill. Nice sidestep from no one.
But, yeah, he struggled on this hero yesterday, and he's trying to remain active, already beginning to fall behind in levels quite a bit. Level 2 is he's just been hanging out mid, and looks like we're going to see Solo now rotate in.
Yeah, they have this ward kind of scouting his rotation, so if you get a killed now from G, it's kind of like shame on you, but he's drawing the line. He kind of wants to come in. No one's starting to build up those stacks, but it's going to be very hard diving in Invoker, especially when he has 17 Magic Wand charges already in boots. You're just not going to get on top of this Invoker.
Taking a look at CS as we wait to see. Yeah, it looks like Solo will go ahead and back off. No, actually, there's a smoke coming from VP. They want to turn this around. No Fear and Low Dance going to show. No one takes the skies. There's a Frostbite, and this should be an easy kill.
Kick.
I don't think it's going to matter. They've certainly got the right click, but No
Fear.
Double
kill.
Yeah, No Fear ends up dropping, as does the Crystal Maiden. They get the Bat Rider, but it cost them a lot. And once again, No Fear missing. You know, I'm not going to say it would have made or broken him there, but still some mechanical misplays here and there. Now there's going to be dust used on Brood. Can they track her down? They absolutely can. FN's on top.
He's going to get the Desolate now.
Close. Got him.
Sioma the KSers here. That's going to help out a lot too. When you have the fast, you know, the problem with the Brood is like, okay, well, how do we kind of, you know, have this AoE spam against them? And the Fortune End does a really nice job, and the way to keep spamming it out is by getting those early kills, transition yourself into that fast arcane boots here for Sioma. And meanwhile, mid lane, they're doing the dive now. Oh, that flame break though.
Knocked him too deep. He is enchanted, so he is slowed. No, he actually isn't. I thought he was.
So slowed though.
Yep, didn't matter. Slowed from the sticky napalm more than enough. And Vega beginning to pile it on now. They're up 5-1, and more importantly, perhaps, 1-0-1 on that Spectre. So already involved in 2 kills for a Spectre before 5 minutes. Not bad.
Yep. And we just haven't seen any action from the Chaos Knight. I mean, he's just been, you know, dead silent here in the bottom lane, just free farming for Yoku, and doesn't even have a TP to work with right now. He's just, you know, kind of content. Meanwhile,
roll on. Yep, roll on, no one, no follow. As G was a little behind there, it looked like.
Jumping the gun, as you said, like, when you play this hero Earth Spirit, you just talk about it so many times. You have to get something done early on, else he just keeps falling off, and he's just not hitting the spells. It's just coming simply to that.
Yep, he's only level 3.5. To put that in perspective, that's a full level and a half behind the Crystal Maiden even. But let's focus on briefly, at least, the Chaos Knight. What kind of build do you think we're going to see here? I mean, very typical stuff. Trez just saw he finished a full wand that's being brought out to him now. Outside of that, what's going to be the approach?
Oh my god, I'm just watching the Broods just
Oh,
Soma.
God.
Oh,
Soma!
The Sunstrike.
Kaboom! Bullseye! Give the man a prize. As a little bit of payback now on
Miss
that Oracle.
Boulder again.
Oh, no fear.
Rolling Boulder is hardest spell to hit in the game. No, but it's. Oh man, they just not having the ganks they want in the mid lane. And yeah, going back to your question now, I think we're gonna have a little bit of patience here, or a little die down now. But Chaos Knight, it's probably want to go still for the drums. Oh, we got a Spectre Hunt already. Where's that going?
Top? Nope.
Out there going long haul here, deep
Oh.
into the jungle. Now Effen's caught out by himself. What?
Yeah, here we go. Yoku showing his face, and this is going to be a great kill for them as they get a nice punishing kill on the aggression out of Vega. And Vega's actually given up a little bit now. They are giving up a little bit of their momentum. In fact, if you check the Golden Experience, this is VP's lead in both categories. So VP making the most out of the free lane that Yoku had, now ready to get him active as they have smoked him up, and it looks like Mag's going to be the target. Not level 6 yet.
Yep, this is starting to look really good for VP because
He's in
Mag,
trouble.
yeah, no.
Yep, that'll do. Sunstrike to guarantee the kill. They give it to the Invoker just to allow him to get a little further ahead. And, that's something we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, we haven't.
Is how well the Frostbite, the Chaos Bolt, and the Invoker with Sunstrike combo together.
Yep, those are nice combos to set up. He was more worried about, the Bat Rider constantly diving on him in the mid lane and going for these kills. And now he's actually had time to look around the map. He's like, hey, guys, let's start setting up some kills. And they're just doing a really good job for VP. And it's just so much pressure on Vega. And when you have that kind of weird haunt in, it's putting them on the back foot because you saw the Brood get a lot more space in the top lane. He took the tower down to half HP. And FNG, he's just doing a really good job in this off lane. He's got the second highest CS now. And now they're forced to put no one against this Broodmother, and that's not what you want to have. You can't really put the Spectre in the mid lane. And he doesn't really have a jungling, tool right now. He doesn't have a Vlad, or not a Vlad. You just need a Morbid Mask or something to go into the jungle, as well as if you earn yourself up, but he doesn't even have that yet.
Double damage picked up by Chaos Knight. Let's see if he wants to just jungle with it or if he wants to get fancy with it. Jungling. That works too. He's actually got a miniature stack going here, so he's just going to continue to add to his farm. Looks like Vega moving a few up the top lane. Maybe they want to try to catch this Brood out again.
Can they, though, is the question. Who do they have Dust on? No, they don't have Dust. They don't have Sentries either, so can't really do anything in this top lane. And it's going to be, I would like FN to hold a Dust maybe, and then try to go for that smoke gank.
Yep.
Or not smoke gank, the haunt in, and no one. He's getting, Sunstrike. Oh, nice dodge.
Singed his tail. Came very, very close. And now they're going to try to catch her out.
Yeah, the Sentry had vision.
Nope, no Dust.
There's the Dust on the courier, though. Too late. Too little, too late.
Well, we see FN is trying to get something done. Once again, missed on the boulder kick from No Fear. Had the Invoker there. And who knows, maybe could have made something happen. So No Fear is coming up at level 5, so not quite as in bad a shape as we saw when he struggled previously on the hero. And really got to get it together for the mid game there. They're going to be so reliant on him, because you've got these great single target disables in the Chaos Bolt and the Frostbite and stuff, but to be able to control the area of the fights as we begin to hit 5-man Doto mode is going to be the challenge, and they're going to be really reliant on him making plays.
Yeah, and the 5-man Dota, I think it favors VP right now, depending, because if you kind of start the fight around Brood, then maybe he will be able to, take 2 towers or something, and you can potentially still win the team fight, because VP right now, they have a lot of invested into this Invoker with the Midas, and the Chaos Knight, they don't really have that much for him right now to lock him down besides the Bat Rider kind of, getting the lasso, but he needs to have the Blink Dagger, as well as we talked about the Roar coming in from Mag.
Right.
So they have a lot of pick-off potential from Vega around the map, but they just don't have anybody to set it up right now. But
there's going to be a smoke.
See, this is the only way they can get it done. Daytime smokes.
They're going to move. Looks like they want to target mid. Bad news for them is
no
VP.
one has the blink, though. Yeah, they can finally get into this game. This is their timing.
This could blow up in their face, though. There's a lot of personnel. Yoku, of course, a great target. Frostbite is there, and Yoku eating all the damage. They have to roar him to bring him down. FN's there as well. Let's see if VP is able to re-engage.
Nice.
There's going to be the ult, doing a lot of damage. Is there any more follow-up?
Oh,
FN,
CM.
so close. CM doing so much damage. They are going to manage to make it a 4 for 3. Sioma makes it a 4 for 4. Only the
That doesn't cancel anymore.
Exactly. Oh, the Invoker nerfs. Either way, big fight for both teams. Let's take a look at the recap. Looks like it did go in favor of Vega when all was said and done, though.
Yeah, that was a nice play coming out from them. I mean, taking down the Chaos Knight, who was just kind of like snowballing out of control there. You know, taking down the... It was just a really nice wraparound. Solo got a... I mean, he just used Dust, killed the Brood Mother by himself. A non-factor for FNG there in the team fight. But really well executed until, like, VP was nice rally, though, from them.
Yep.
Trying to come to that team fight, you know, salvaging it. And every single time they shut down FN, he's not having a great impact for their carry, and he doesn't even have Ernie, doesn't have boot or drums. I mean, this is a poor Spectre at this stage of the game. And
which is odd because the start was there. He's been involved in 6 kills at this point. You'd think that it put him in a slightly better position. Just hasn't been the case.
Need those kills desperately on the Spectre, I feel, or something.
Well, no one's going to have a lasso up at 5. Grouped up once again with Mag and Sioma. And they are going to pop the smoke. Let's see who the target's going to be. The Invoker is going to be problematic, and they have to know that by now. I mean, they're
going to head-to-head. Oh,
once again,
nice
Mag.
silence.
Here we go. Another great ulti. It's going to be canceled. Finally, the roar on Yoku, but there should be plenty of help on the way. There's going to be the Magnetize. Mag will barely survive by the skin of his teeth. Sunstrike, give the man another prize.
Armlet.
Yoku. The toggles are real. Are they enough, though?
Oh
FN right on his tail. Continuing to turn 2-second stun. There's going to be the sticky napalm and the dagger trying to track him down. Oh,
you can do it again. It's so easy. Oh.
Took him a while.
But look, wow, you have a Brood knocking on your tier 3 tower already. This is what happens when you play against this hero. And he's already got his Orchid soon, too. Oh, my goodness. And you didn't even have the Invoker during that team fight, constantly farming as well. This is looking so bad for Vega, even though they got those 2 kills. It's just they're finding all the space elsewhere on the map, and it's hard for them to get everything done.
VP playing so well. And I was just going to say, the problem is, like, G wasn't even really there. He threw out a Sunstrike and got himself another kill on the Oracle, but he's continuing to just farm. That Midas has been up for quite a while now. He's on his way to his Scepter. He's pretty much halfway there, as a matter of fact. And it's not going to be long before he just balls out on dudes. He is real close to critical mass. And like you said, FNG certainly not there and getting tons of farm, already bringing down that tier 3 to 1100 HP. This is just really well played by VP thus far.
Yeah, you see the problem when you have an Earth Spirit having free reign in the team fights. They're forced to lasso and roar all onto, you know, the Chaos Knight just to slow him down. And then Earth Spirit's just, you know, doing his dance of Magnetize. Oh, it's brutal right now. They were like winning a 3v4 there or something, or even a 3v5.
Well, Vega leading in the kill department, but still trailing about 4,000 gold, 2,000 XP, so not irreversible by any stretch. But they're now in a position where, like you said, their biggest advantages are really kind of nullified. Like, they've got great initiation potential, but the follow-up is so difficult.
Vega, all they can really do now is just try and go for these pickoffs around the map, and just every time your Haunt is kind of up, but VP are just always getting one step closer to, you know, like getting another objective, as we talk about, in either in the top lane, or let's talk about the Invoker just constantly farming up, and they're not finding enough ways to really shut them down. So it's still on the ball of Vega, because if we start looking at this as a slowing down the game here, going into the later stages of the game, sure, Spectre is nice, but he's been kind of shut down effectively here for FN. I mean, he doesn't really have the best items to work with, doesn't have, you know, the Manta style yet, or the Radiance to really, you know, output a lot of physical DPS. And whereas we have the Chaos Knight, I mean, there's nothing to really solve the problem with his illusions, is there?
No, not really. Like, there's just no way to bring them down. By the way, I hear drum's a pretty good item. 4 set of drums are out on the map right now, 3 for VP alone. And they're going to smoke into the enemy jungle and see what they can find. No, but you bring up an excellent point about the illusions. Thing is, it's still just level 1
No
Phantasm.
one.
Oh, there we go. Catching him out. Sunstrike's going to be off the mark this time. No one trying to do what he can. Magnetizes off. Yoku actually caught in a bad position this time around. 1 for 1 down so far. Now they're going to try to follow us, but the damage is so high. We see No Fear getting some work done. 2 for 2. Buyback on the bat. However, No Fear trying to roll away. Manages to make it back towards the back lines. He's going to be brought down with 1 more impetus. Now they're going to try to chase out FNG. Do they have any detection? Do they have any way to knock him out of it? They do not. They certainly don't have the right click. So it cost them a buyback, but they do end up holding. And yeah, check the recap. I was going to say, even after the buyback, it actually came out pretty darn close to even.
Yep. Even Steven as you go, and that's just hurting the item progression as Batrider. You want to have him having a 4-staff. Blink is not enough to really get in there, and that was kind of all set up by the good false premise, keeping him alive, but you just see how he melts. And nice magnetized once again, but that was the solo show for Vega, like keeping them in this game. He is starting to be the only hope for Vega, I think, for the physical aspect, physical DPS in these team fights. And he's got the Dragon Lance already, working on the Ags, and my goodness, he's 8-0 right now. Oh my God, Solo, how big is your back this game? No one scouted out. Does he have a gym or something?
He's just gonna die. Yeah, that's
Thought he had an invis. Maybe I was wrong.
Oh, now Solo.
Oh, the sentry's
nope,
here.
they're going to re-engage. They're going after Sioma at the top. Yoku is anyway behind that. We can see Solo healing through a lot of this damage, but I don't.
TP out. Yep, gonna get him.
Oh, it's close. Nope. Oh, they do manage to bring him down. So 2 gone. Sioma did manage to make it away, but at top we see FN. And a glyph was just deployed as well as FNG continuing to pressure up here. We're all on it up 15-15. There's going to be the Orchid, but no follow-up, it doesn't seem.
Yeah, they could just purge it off with Fortune's End.
Oh, that's a lot of free gold he just gave away with those Spiderlings, too.
Yeah, FN desperately needs that. I mean, that's, you don't see it now, guys, but I had the camera there. Is the Sentry Ward setting up that, I mean, you can't even predict the Sentry Ward being right there. That is so unfortunate for no one. That's game losing. I mean, he was going to go for a play that you can make when you're invisible, and then you're going to have the haunt in, but, oh, you got to feel so bad for the guy.
That's a level 11 and a level 2 Phantasm for Yoku, excuse me. This is where he really starts to get terrifying and where you really start to see the late game power of a Chaos Knight come into play. And, you know, only to reiterate your point, because I think it's such a good one. What in the hell is Vega going to do whenever there are a bunch of illusions, especially if, God forbid, Yoku manages to get a Manta up?
I mean, you can enchant at least one.
And it'll promptly be blown up to crit. Got it.
I mean, yeah, they don't really have anybody who can get a Mjolnir or Battle Fury to really combat that. It's just going to be tough sledding for kind of keeping them down. And
Birth of the Mjolnir Enchantress.
Yeah, this is...
Sunstrike not on point. Looks like they're going hunting again, though. Let's see what they can find. No one has lasso up. G seems to be the target. He is going to go ahead and preemptively Ghost Walk. No one is going to reload. Oh, he does!
Tornado.
Beautiful tornado. Is that going to be enough? Buys him some time. If nothing else, there's going to be a Flame Break Phantasm has been used, and they're in trouble. And we're going to see them trying to engage on the solo. Now they're going to turn around. 3-second Chaos Bolt. Helped out by Sioma. Purging that off. And oh my goodness. That's the crit the Phantasm brings. G's going to drop behind that as well.
This Ice Wall, though, they can't run now.
Oh, the crit, the illusions. That's going to be a triple kill for Yoku. Say it with me one time. How about an ultra kill for our man on the horseback? And that is gigantic for VP.
Oh, top lane, too. You have the Brood going to get a Rex, too. FNG. This whole team is carrying them. It looks to be like a quick, you know, not 2-0 here or 2-1 series for VP. Oh, and just can't stop it solo. You've been playing absolutely perfectly for your team. Your Enchantress warrants a ban every game, my friend, but your team.
Just ban solo. Just ban the player. It's like, we would like to ban your solo, please. Just don't let him on stage. Pretty please. No, that was a great play down at bottom. The turn at the Ice Wall. There were 2 amazing plays, at least that I saw. Correct me if I'm wrong. God knows I mess these up sometimes. But the Invoker getting the Tornado off first and foremost, anticipating the blink from the Bad Rider. That bought him enough time to retreat and made the Flame Break off point. And by that time, Vega had overcommitted just a bit. Then he turns around and drops that wall, like you said, smack in the middle of everything, making retreat impossible. That led to what was ultimately an ultra kill for our boy Yoku. And Virtus.Pro, one of, it is amazing the difference between their play in game one and their play this game. It is just off the charts amazing.
Yep, and they're not even doing it by necessarily the cheesiest strat. I mean, Brood is pretty damn cheesy, don't get me wrong. And
I just think, no, I think from what I've seen, and you know, and I think it's worth saying, as much as we hammered him early, No Fear struggled early, he's beginning to hit his spells.
Yeah.
Like, he's playing well, he's managing these fights. So
you just pop your ulti, then you put a stone remnant down, and then everybody's magnetized.
Speaking of, how about a huge Roche pit magnetize? No hope as VP continues to clean house. A little bit of time bought, but not nearly enough as the Beastmaster is down. Solo doing what damage he can. No Fear there.
He just got kicked.
Get out. Get out, he says. As VP will be able to shut down that Roche attempt. Roche sitting at about half health. G is sitting ghost walked on the high ground. Not going to matter.
Meanwhile, they're getting the tier 3 tower here for FNG. He never shows up to these team fights. Don't even need you, man. But he's still creating a lot of space for his team, and that was the best segue you could have with that Air Spirit, just showing us why the hero is just always banned. Damn it! And this is just this is so far out of reach from Vega. If you had a Radiance right now on the Spectre, I could say you have a chance because maybe that burn damage would help out a lot for this Broodlings or something. They still haven't addressed that issue. They haven't addressed the CK illusions. There's just so many things going wrong this game. There's just not much left in the tank for Vega here.
Well, let's see. Looks like at this point, VP not willing to wait any longer. They're going to drop the rock. Oh, goodbye, Sioma. This is going to be another set of racks for free.
They're taunting the courier now. Oh, look at that. It's just running in. Donkey's like, hey, guys, touch me. No, you can't.
And another set of racks down, and as you said, just the creep spam is I mean, what do you even do, man? There's going to be a roll-in. How about you roll in and you try to pin this game down immediately? No, if you're eating a lot of damage, though, maybe overcommitting a bit, there's going to end up being a 2-for-1 as the Earth Spirit does drop. Now Solo caught amidst the ice with the cold snap. FNG there secures the kill. That's going to be 4 down. Buyback from Solo, wanting to maybe try to hold what small chance they have left in this tournament. Yoku, low on health, that alone might be enough to force them to back, but the damage already well done, and the one hero really on point. The Enchantress sitting at 10-3-5 on the game, forced to buy back with nothing to show for it.
It's just out of control, and there's just no way to even combat. Like, if you had, an answer like I was talking about to one of these heroes, then maybe you can get back. But you just have so many problems across the board that you can talk about. I mean, Invoker with Aegis, they haven't even been able to bring him down as much. And the one time they did catch him out was, just with the Beastmaster roar, and then they were able to get on top of him. But this Beastmaster plus this Batrider is just too much single target focus this game, and they just don't have enough AoE clearance. If we saw what happens when the Batrider just goes away from the lane. Brood does everything on her own, and then losing team fights 4v5 has got to be the worst feeling in the world.
I mean, you've got so many Broodlings. You've got the Forged Spirits. You've got the Chaos Knight Illusions. And
the army's here. Is this army worse than last game or one of the games?
I mean, it depends on how you want to measure it. Is it worse like in objective sense? Maybe not. But it is much worse in terms of what Vega can actually do about it. And Solo coming out. There's a blink from the Brood, and now they're going to lasso the Brood. Helps there, though. Well-placed Tornado is going to buy a little bit of time. And here's the Magnetize, though. Mag in some trouble, and they're going to try to continue to follow this up. Sioma sitting near the back of the fight. No Fear on top of him. Secures the kill. Now Solo trying to heal through the damage. It's a 2-for-2 thus far, which is better than they probably could have expected. But 4-second Chaos Bolt. Here comes the hammer as Yoku laying it to Sioma. 3 for 3, no one manages to make it away. Costs an Aegis as G is able to extricate himself, but looks like they're ready to run at the tier 3. Last chance, and yeah, this is not a good way to go about it. FN being caught with the Reality Rift, Chaos Bolt. See you, Spectre, GG well played. And Virtus.Pro, after a disastrous game 1 that left them looking like they were asleep at the wheel, manages to get things back on track and secure a 2-1 victory, giving the boot to another team of CIS favorites in Vega. Well played game 2 and 3
We
for
talked
Virtus.Pro.
about it a lot yesterday. This team, if they can just start gelling, start getting a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of their team fight together, they have such a good ceiling, and they just played absolutely superb this game. It was just a complete outdraft, too, from FNG. They did everything perfect, rotating around constantly. I really love how they played this game, and I just can't stress enough. When you win 4v5 fights, that is like one of the best feelings in Dota. You don't even need your other hero for FNG. It's like playing what you know Admiral Bulldog does sometimes. He just split push with the Prophet, and then you just win
Yeah.
team fights.
So,
Oh, it feels
so
so
long as
good.
you break even on team fights and you're not bringing a fifth,
Right.
you just win. It's always going to be a win. Speaking of a win, again, as much as we hammered him yesterday for performance in his early game today, I want to point out No Fear involved in 27 kills. So able to bounce back after a few mechanical mistakes early. Big, big, big part of his team's success. We're going to have an interview coming up on stage here in just a moment as they get that set up. My player of the game, I mean, it's tough to give it to anyone but G. I feel like he played off the charts good, man.
I'm gonna say, yeah, you have to just say Yoku, man, because Chaos
Really?
Knight. I mean, we saw Chaos Knight and Lifestealer now at this tournament. Dead heroes, winning games. I love it.
All right, so I'm going to hold tight because yesterday I had to constantly jump off in the middle of a topic. I know we're going to the stage. Can you see who they're grabbing?
Now, no.
3, 2, 1, now.
No, we're always gonna be wrong. There's no hope.
Okay, so yeah, they're still taking a minute to get set up, but yeah, man, like the play from VP, and you know, imagine the hype too. You still got Na'Vi up in the upper bracket. Imagine if it ends up being a VP Na'Vi clash at the grand finals. What a hype spot this would be. So I love the
Right.
storylines they're setting up already.
It's gonna be very fun, all these games, and our next series should be one of a hell of a one too. I mean, MVP and OG.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually jealous I don't get to cast that. Like,
Yeah.
surprising to see them out this early. Well, not out,
one of
but
them.
one of them will be out.
Oh
but,
yeah, they're both out now. No, just kidding. They're both gonna lose the next
Right.
one, and then another one after now. But
It's-
it'll be
it's-
very interesting. This tournament has been, showing how teams have been grinding here in the CIS region, and they've been doing absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, as Nahaz said coming into this, and, you know, in fairness, I have not been casting for quite a while, so in a lot of ways, how about we hold that thought and we go, and that's going to be G on stage.
What came wrong on the first map? Maybe you already analyzed this thing.
Thank you. We played not so well, and our draft had some flaws, obviously. Like, they are playing really aggressive with Enchantrance especially, and we were a bit greedy, and we weren't ready with this kind of aggression, so we lost.
And what about the next match? You will win either OG, either MVP. Who would you prefer and why?
We'll see. Both teams are pretty strong. Maybe both of them are struggling a bit now because they are losing, obviously. But OG are the winners of the major, and MVP are we were on the hot streak before maybe 2 weeks ago. They were like the best team, obviously. Now something happened, so we'll see.
Okay, thank you very much and goodbye. We go back to analysis desk, obviously.
E-gaming bets.